Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. Mask off. You've been tuned in to Mask Off. What conversation will rule the nation on face-to-face basis when we blast off. It's real on the asphalt, on the turf of the court. Yeah, we here for the sport, so take your mask off so I can hear your ass talk. Let me hear you explain. Hold the thoughts on your brain. Is your ass small? Spit facts and real talk. I need that shit from the street that make you think real deep and take a long walk. This podcast is hella lit with my man J Defense and Skizzo Blizzo.
Official whistle. What it do, baby?
What's up, guys?
Back in the building, man.
No
you know what
doubt.
it is, man. Welcome back, fam. We know it's been a minute.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on in the world, man. Between family, surgeries, it's all kind of stuff, man. But we only took a little peanut butter and jelly break, man. That's all it is, man.
Yep.
People thought we was assed out, down and out. Nah, that ain't what it is, fam. We back on. We back on.
That.
Let everybody know we back on.
Yo, he had to come back with reinforcements, his family. You feel what I'm
You
saying?
know what it
He had to
is,
come
man.
back with the blood, yo.
And you know, this is J Defense, man. Find me on all platforms. JAYDFENCE. And obviously, as always, Mask Uncovered. Find us on all platforms.
Yeah.
Mask Uncovered Podcast. And who do we have in the house? Who
Definitely
we
have J Chesson. I'm his big cousin. Okay, so stand down, soldier. Yeah. So definitely check out my channel. It's everything is J. So my IG is J Chesson, my TikTok J Chesson, and my YouTube J Chesson. And there you're gonna find mad skits. You're gonna find like blogs, like trending topics and stuff like that. I also took a break for a while, but I'm back. You know, you need that mental break, and we probably gonna cover some of that stuff tonight. You need that little mental break. You know what I'm saying? Just to like, okay, boom, get back into my headspace. And just, you know, make sure that I'm going down the right lane. You know what I mean? And then you come back refreshed like we both are right now. So this is a wonderful start to like some great, definitely some great, you know, just putting out some fire, yo.
Right.
Right.
And what people don't understand, like, you know, some people, to each their own, think you just turn the camera on and hit record. Like, you know, it takes work.
It does.
To get to places, you know, to renting out places, to
Yeah.
equipment and all that stuff, research, just staying on your P's and Q's. So it is always good to take a mental break in anything you do. Like
Yes.
people that got jobs, you don't work every day the whole year. You got vacation days.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. We took a little break from our platforms, what have you.
Yo, are we looking down?
Nah.
Are we
I'm
looking
mixing
up?
it up. I'm
We
mixing-
looking
I'm
down?
mixing it up.
Okay, so y'all don't even understand, okay? So we was practicing, okay? Well, I was practicing. He's a natural. And I kept looking down. He was like, cuz, you gotta look up. So I think I'm still looking down. He's
It's
looking
okay.
up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna be doing this right here.
I'm gonna catch you one way or the other. Man, what you been up to, man? I know, like, you know, what
Yeah.
sucks is with family is like we always
Weddings
you know,
and funerals.
Yeah, you know, we love each other to death or what have you. People got their own lives, so it's no love lost, but it's like, damn, like, oh, it's a funeral, okay, it's a wedding, and it's like, but
just
you know,
recently, our
auntie
oldest aunt passed.
passed last year sometime. And
Rest in
it
peace,
was
auntie.
months
We
ago.
love you so much.
Yes, rest in peace, auntie. And you know, it was still good to, you know, get to see the family, hang out or whatever. And that's still not even a time to reconnect, to hang out and everything.
Right.
But I know old boy you was with, you know, you had been with him, I think about 5 years or something like that. And
yeah, I was in a relationship for about 6.5 years, I want to say.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 years. Yeah, maybe 6 years, and going a little bit over 6 years. And at the time that my cousin saw me and the guy that I was with, like, you know, he was there. At the funeral, at my aunt's funeral.
That's the first thing I asked when I reached out. I was like, yo, I know, you know, we had been talked about doing something.
Yeah, no
in the
doubt.
past, and time gets away, but you know, I reached out again. Hey, how's it going? What's the deal? How's life? And one of the first thing I asked, you know, because old boy was cool, but I was like, oh yeah, so you know, y'all tied a knot yet? I know y'all was thinking about it, whatever. And then you threw me for a loop.
Yeah,
What did you tell
I
me?
was like, cuz, yeah, nah, man, I'm single. We ain't in a relationship no more, my guy.
Now,
Yeah,
how do something like that happen? Like, especially with women, right? Because
yeah,
some women, once they get past 25 or 28, and
Yeah.
they got to say no age differences, whatever. But
Yeah.
I have 3 sisters and a lot of female cousins, and I know that's one of the things that like a lot of females talk about is when they invest time with the guy and then things don't work out. So. Was this a case of you wasted your time? Was it a case of he wasted his time? Like what the hell?
You know what?
Go wherever you want.
Yeah, no, I love that question because that's a question that I have a lot of answers for that one question. So first off, like there's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with me. Great guy. I mean, you met him, right? Everybody loved him in my family. You know what I mean? He comes from good stock. You know what I mean? A good family. So no disrespect to him or anything like that. But right, you know how like say you working a job, and I hate to give this analogy, but I'm gonna just give it. So you working at a job, right? It's good at first. You're like, yeah, this is the one. You know what I'm saying? And then the year go by. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm still 2 years, and you realize, oh well, you ain't got no promotion.
Right.
3 years, they saying they promising, but then the promotion ain't came yet.
Yep.
4 years, 5 years. Feel me?
Yeah.
So at some point, I said to myself, you can't push no man, right? If he going, a man or a woman, you can't push a human being.
Right.
So if they want to stay right there and plateau, right, it's something that they may not want to hurt your feelings with. You just ain't the one. Listen, let me tell you something. I truly believe, and just say this, maybe this is the old school in me. I truly believe that when a man wants to marry you, he's just gonna do it. Your wife, you knew when you knew. First of all, how many years? How many years was y'all married? I mean, how many years was y'all dating before you decided to ask her?
Before I decided, that's something. It's funny. I know all the other numbers, and that's the one that throws me for a loop. How long? I'll tell you this. I knew right away that this was somebody that I was truly interested in. Like I knew, because obviously now we're talking about when I was 5, y'all. So back in the days, you're young and dumb and you have your starting 5 or, you're playing the field.
Yeah.
And, you like this one for that, you
Yeah.
like this one for that. Like, you spend time with something. Sometimes you buy, the teddy bears and stuff for this one. Sometimes you just take a girl out to the bar. But I would definitely say early on that she was definitely somebody that was garnering more attention than I thought, right? Like it was kind of like, wow, like why am I thinking about her?
But when
Like,
did you say, this is the woman I want to marry? How many years when in your mind did you say, this is the woman that I gotta marry this one?
oh man, that's a great question. I would say within 3 years. I would say 3 years
Yeah.
was probably that number of.
Yeah. And
Like,
listen,
Because I don't take marriage for fun and games. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like obviously, my parents are divorced. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know people that
Yeah.
have long marriages and stuff like that. That's not well known or something that is shown in our community. Like, we have
Yes,
people
you
that's
do.
got.
our
I'm saying, like,
uncle.
Yeah, but what I
Uncle
mean,
T.
but like not really sitting on your lap type of thing.
Oh,
right?
I
Like,
see what
so
you're
you can reach
saying.
out, like
Yeah.
So, you got an older uncle.
Yeah.
Like, but that's still even far in between. If I got 30 uncles,
Yeah.
one of them's been married for 30 years plus, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And then at that time was
Yeah.
probably only married 5 years at
Yeah.
that time, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm talking about I was like 19, 20. I met my wife in college.
Yeah.
So at that stage and age, who did I know that had been married for 20 plus years, right? So that type of thing. But then just the idea of marriage itself, right? Like
Yeah.
when you talk about sitting on your lap, my mother and father
Yeah.
who were together got divorced. So like they can't get no closer than that,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
now if you're growing up in a home that's not marriage material, then you're like, okay, what does marriage mean or whatever?
Yeah.
And then that's what made me say, okay, if I ever get married, I'm not doing that I married for the wrong reasons, or I got
Yeah.
married because I was 7, and whatever. People have different reasons for why they break up,
Yeah.
and I don't know people's personal business, and I don't care to. That's their.
Do they
their
know
life.
how long you've been married?
I know how long I've been married.
I know, but how did the
Yeah. Well, the people, like I said, since college, I'm about 30 today.
30?
Nah.
30 years?
No, I'll be married 20 years coming up.
20 years.
Yeah,
Okay, 20 years.
Next week, actually. Well,
That's
by the
a
time the videos
blessing.
drop. Yeah. So, yeah, I've been with my wife for 30, but yeah, married for 20. So,
Is marriage, because this has been a big question that I notice arising like right now. Like I see this on social media a lot. This question: is marriage really a big deal? Can you be in a relationship and have a long-term relationship without having that piece of paper saying you're married? Do you think, like, is it like, oh, like when you feel any different, like say if you and Tammy did not actually take those vows, is it different? Does it make it different? Do you feel like,
That is a great question. Because in my mind, then, we married. We had 2 kids. We bought a house. And her thing was like, okay, listen, what about we got to go through the wedding type of thing? And I'm like, okay. And we tried a couple of different times of,
Did you have that in your mind because you wanted to leave the door open a little bit mentally?
No, it's funny, right? Because I really didn't think or care that a piece of paper meant so much, right? So that's why I said this is a great question, because over time I realized what it means, right? Like it's really signing that deal. And I'll equate it to this, right? Like, so I have a lot of friends that have children, right? Outside of wedlock, what have you. Mm-hmm. And they didn't live with the kids, with the kid or the kid's mother. Mm-hmm. So they would get the kid on weekends, once a month, whenever. So they'll see the kid.
Co-parenting.
So I was always living with my kids. Like me and wifey's been together, and we've been together. And I used to say to myself, like, wow, like, look at these people being celebrated for one weekend out the month when they don't really understand what it's like when that kid at 2 a.m. is sneezing, blowing their nose, like you got to stay home from school with them. So the intricacies of being a home father and then seeing people that was, don't get mad at me, were part-time fathers. I can only talk about the fathers because I'm no female. I can't say what the females feel. Yeah. But I kind of equate it to that because at some point, like I'm a at-home father. Like I'm in the house and I see what it takes to know what diaper sizes are with milk and all that. Yeah. So seeing those things, it still was trying. I mean, I didn't know off the rip, but learning that. Right. So I kind of equate that to the idea of how I used to think that was the weekend dad for me. It was like, I don't need a piece of paper. Yeah. Right? Like the piece of paper is just like, what are you talking about? The piece of paper, like, we're married.
But Tammy said that she needed a piece of paper.
Yeah, well, she definitely wanted that piece of paper. I would definitely say that. And rightfully so. Like,
No doubt.
And then
But were you guys living with each other before marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, because we had our
daughter. They say that could be a nail in the coffin to get you to the next steps to get married. So when people said to me, because there's been people that said to me, like, Jay, that was your fault because you made it too easy. If you have like, you're giving them everything that a wife
should offer without being
right, then why are you expecting this person to hop, skip, and jump real fast to marry you?
I would say there's possibly some truth to that, right? Like, so I don't know everybody's situation, but I would think if you asked him, I know she's had people in her ears telling the same thing, so I can understand how the female community.
Hold on, because let me tell the people what I'm drinking.
Oh, yeah.
So my cousin bought me, because I only drink red wine occasionally, so this is an amazing occasion. My cousin bought me a Santa Helena. It's a Cabernet, and it's absolutely the bomb. It's sweet, and I like sweet dry wine, and he hit it. So, okay.
And I forgot to do the drink of the day, but I might should do
Oh,
one. We'll
no,
do that.
that's mine.
Let everybody know I'm drinking my special ales. Yeah, but definitely back to that. I'm pretty sure that in that female community that things can appear to be that way, but also there are some shitbag dudes that will run
Man.
that table and do those things, right?
Yeah.
But when you're true to yourself, when you're honest and you know who you are, literally, I wasn't playing the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that, okay, if I continue to do this, then I'll be able to continue to do that. It was never no fucking games with me. I was like, yo, like I'm literally your husband, like the piece of paper if it means that much to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew I wanted that. Like, I wasn't afraid of it, but I also knew what it meant. Like, because females could change too, right?
Yeah.
Like, so once you become that missus, you know, if you do that too early, you know, it doesn't mean as much to you as it does to me too,
Yeah.
right? Because females are, in my eyes, taught, brought up, raised for marriages, for weddings. They see the Barbie doll, the Ken doll, and like they get married and stuff like that, and they picking out wedding dresses at 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
And boys are sitting up there playing with, you know, dump trucks and whatever. Like, we're not
Yeah.
even thinking about, you know, sow your oats. Like, it's like, you know, get as many as you can and
Right.
what have you. So you're talking about two different mindsets that got to come together. So, like, are you coming together for the right reasons? Not that I would ever question my wife about it, but
Right.
why wouldn't you, you know, when you're young, like, okay, 3 years in,
Yeah, no doubt.
you really want to get married just because, like, do you really love me, or just
Yeah.
because we have a child together, because your aunt said
and you
so?
want that union, and this is what society says is a completion of a relationship.
So for me, it was
Yeah.
deep. Like, it's really like,
Yeah.
I'm all or nothing. Like,
You know,
so.
and some men, especially African American men, they move very slowly, and I'm thinking like towards marriage, and I like. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, okay? I blame it on slavery, because I think that there was some sort of, not curse, but something happened in slavery when we were ripped apart. Our families were ripped apart as soon as we got off that ship, right? And we landed in America, and it just basically it continued through the generations, right? I do believe that that's where the main problem is. But then you notice how like the baby daddies, you know what I mean? Oh, what about when President Carter? Y'all know I told y'all we were about to get real. When President Carter basically, you know, he was the daddy to many African American women, where it's like, you don't need a man mentally. You don't need a man. You just need the money, right? You need the food stamps, right? We'll put you up in an apartment. You don't have to even work. You can just chill. And then so, what do you think that does to the mentality of a man?
Well, you're emasculating a man, right? Like, so when you think about it, like, and so now you come home, and what home is that female's apartment, right? It's a Section 8
It's a
apartment.
female's apartment.
Right. So, like, now, and what's crazy is, like, I'm the type of man, like, I don't care where we are. Like, so
Right.
if you're a millionaire and I'm a pennier,
Right.
if I come home, guess what? That's still my home, right?
It's your
So
home.
I'm not one of those faded dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like that, you know, because you make the money or because you got the house or the inheritance, I don't care what it is.
Right.
When I come home, I mean, I stand 10 toes down. I'm
That's your
home,
casa,
right? Like,
yeah.
so that's who I am.
But when you say when you come home, are you paying
Man,
the bills?
10
Are you paying the bills?
What I'm saying is,
What
I
you
don't even
saying?
have to. Like, I'm the type of dude, right? Like, now I do believe that a man should play his part now, but
Play his
type
part
of-
or pay all the bills. There's a difference. I mean, listen, it's all out there right now.
Right.
These chicks right now, they like, nah, you pay the bills.
For me, I do not feel that bills, money, cars, apartments have anything to do with a man themselves, right? I got a cousin that lives in Africa, and he was a stay-at-home dude. He didn't work or what have you, and his /wife, girlfriend, they've been together for so many years. But if you walk to that house, he done built the fence around the house.
Yeah.
He done built a screen house. He done built this, that, and that. So, like, his value wasn't he works and, you know, the house was hers and this, that. But
Yeah.
he still was, excuse me, he still was a man of his household.
Of
right?
his household, yeah.
He still gave or did what he could do at the time as a man, right? So, what I don't want men to feel or think that you have to be on a certain level financially or what have you, like that.
Right.
That doesn't make you a man, because then all you got to do is just tell any guy, yo, just go get a high paying job, and then you can treat a woman any kind of way, right? So that's not what makes a man.
Right.
A man's here, right? Like a man's,
agree.
he moves differently. He's a protector, provider. Like he has consciousness of what's going on in the family dynamic,
I
and he
agree.
makes decisions based on the family.
I agree.
He doesn't. So now, when you start breaking it down into different relationships, because I know a lot of educated women, you got to remember, women are more educated than men in the African American culture. We have more females with degrees than we do males, right? Males got more jail sentences than females have. Than females have degrees. So,
Yeah.
but I don't.
And some of that's not on purpose. Okay, so in my opinion, I think that a lot of black men, they get the bad end, right, of the deal.
Right.
You look a certain, you look at you, right? You tall, you big, you strong, right? You're dark skinned, rich tone. And you may come across as, oh boy, that's the bad guy.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
then now it's like you live, and I'm not going against my country. I love my country, right? I love America. There's things I don't like about it, and that's one of those things. I feel like it's a thing where we're still into this look, right? It's the look, right? You look like you fit the profile.
Right.
And that's unfortunate, because that closed the doors for a lot of black men.
It riles up so much, because not only do society perceive you that way,
Right.
but you could actually convince yourself
Yeah.
to look at yourself that way.
You see what I'm saying? Right.
I'm not going to be shit. Like if I don't have this,
Yeah.
then I'm nothing.
Then I'm nothing.
Things of that nature, right? Like, so pride is
Yeah.
like a hell of a drug, right? Like, so you have to have pride. You have to almost be at a point where, like, you value yourself so much that it's almost at a conceited level.
Yeah.
But if I don't value myself and the love for myself,
Yes, man,
then
why?
how can I be anything to anybody else, right? Like,
Yeah.
so my self-happiness, like, makes me be able to provide happiness to others, right? Like, so when you see me, you should feel happy being around me, because I'm happy with myself. I made decisions, and whatever decisions I've made over time, I've learned to live with it. And you don't always make the right decisions, but you know what? I stand on it. I say, I made this decision. I messed up, but this is why I made that decision. So now I won't make that decision based off of this going forward. So long as you're constantly having that conversation with yourself, then you could provide feedback to others. You could be more to others, because you're whole, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's why if you look at with black men, like for instance, right? You got the eyes, right? You got the fronts. I think a lot of black men, that's a way of them. That's the way for them to say, I am a high value man. I am like I worked hard, right? I got a little something for myself, It shows wealth. It shows you're established. It shows so many different things. And I know, like, some people that are not, not of color, right, will say, well, why do you wear the gold chains?
Right.
Why do you wear the platinums and stuff like that? Well, you don't understand, right? Of course, you don't understand. Of course, because you already had it. You already had it mentally. I'm not talking about an actual here, right?
You're right.
Because you are what's the thing? A man who is a person who is when you're entitled to, you think entitlement.
Entitled, yeah.
Right? So I think it's all a mental thing, and I applaud it. I love that. I love that.
But
I think that's why I love black men.
But stay where you at, right? Like,
I love
so
all men.
But no,
Colors.
This is good that you said that, because this is also something, right? Like, so back to that idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you could be convinced that you are nothing, or you need to look or behave a certain way, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is people are convinced that, okay, if I buy a chain, or if I buy the new Jordan, or if I buy the car with the new rims, then they, whoever they may be, your next door neighbor, it could be your ex-girlfriend, it could be your baby's mother, whoever.
Yeah.
They're going to look at me and say, oh yeah, he's doing good. Meanwhile, you pull up and you're parking in the back of Walmart and you're sleeping in the back of that mall, right? So, but all everybody sees is that new Cadillac truck with the big rims on it, and they see you driving down the street, and you ain't got a pot to piss in. So that's also
Isn't that what Steve Harvey did? Steve Harvey said that he was living in his car. Oh, and for the longest time, no one knew.
Yeah.
No one knew. You know what I'm saying?
That boy got so many fake stories. I don't know what to believe with Steve. But I mean, but either way, but with that said,
you talking about a hairpiece?
Yeah. but with that, that's still the idea of what I'm referring to, right? Is that like, if you look a certain way, and that's why I think females, now back to the relationship stuff,
no
right?
doubt.
Man, I know I've had conversation growing up, whatever, knowing friends and family, that there was always this one guy, or there was always this one girl. You know, the guys hang with the guys, the girls hang with the girls, and those particular people were the dime pieces, so to speak, right? Like, so you had the Shamar Moores of the world, or you had the Holly Berrys of the world, right?
Yeah.
And you had a group of regular moles, right? Like, so I'm not gonna say that we already know. So the dime pieces were singled out.
Yeah.
The dime pieces were the ones borrowing money to get in the club. The dime pieces was borrowing dresses and shoes. The dime pieces, in some instances, right? Not all. I don't say all or never, right? Like, so, and in some cases, and you know, the female would be like, "Oh, yo, who's that?" And then you be sitting up there like, "Yo, I just gave that dude $20 to get in the club, and you know, I'm the one with, you know, at least $20 to buy you a bed, but you want to see
because you got to
now." And then on the other side,
because you had to.
And then on the other side, like, you know, I talk to obviously.
Even though you're a handsome man, you so there's a status, like you said, right? So it goes to there was like when we was growing up, there was the light skin, dark skin.
Yep.
And it still kind of is, but like, you know, everybody wanted to look like, you know, Albie Shore. You can get up on your you can get up on
Yo, that's my joy too. What? LB, yo.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
LB.
Right? So then you have like, you know, those guys. The thing is, they knew they didn't have to have a dime in their pocket because everything was thrown at them. Here you go. Yeah, you get in the club free. Yeah, boom. You know, they'd be the face. You know, the face of the club. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The girls, like you talk about Halle Berry. It's like, yeah, you know, she could walk in and bring $50,000 with her. You know why? Because more people will come just because she's in there.
Yeah.
Why would she have to come out her pockets?
Yeah. It changes things, man. So that perspective of holding your own and knowing who you are.
No doubt.
So, I know we kind of veered off, but back to
really? Okay, yeah. So my relationship.
No, I love it. So like there was a little age difference, right? It was about 10 years.
Yeah. So he was younger than me, and that's just always been that's always been the case for me, right? Like, it's always, I've always ended up, I don't seek though, right? I'm not like, you know, R. Kelly at the high school. You know what I'm saying? It's not the deal. You know what I'm saying? I want to throw on the weave and just be waiting in the bathroom. Right, okay. Waiting in the bathroom, you know what I'm saying? In the schoolyard, like, yeah, there you go. You got a little boom boom. Boom boom out the diapers. Boom boom out the diapers. Nah, that wasn't me, for real. I was just basically living my life. I've never been that girl though. I never been that girl to be like me's a man, Jesus. I ain't never been like that. You know, I just always live my life and just been me. I've been Jackie all day, 10 toes. So whoever gravitated to me, and I just liked the way they vibed and I liked the feeling, the connection. And that was it. That's
Now,
how.
with that connection, do you feel now times have changed?
Yeah.
You could elaborate how you want to.
Yeah.
Ask the flat out question. Do you feel that a man needs to come to the table with a six-figure job? He has to have his own vehicle. He has to have his own car. I mean, his own house.
Good question.
How do you feel when there's a interest from the opposite sex?
You know what? If you were to ask me that question about 10 to 15 years ago, I would have said, you know what? Love is love, and it's no problem. And oh my God, and Jack, it's just like love. And, and blossoms. I would have said that. But now I'm like, listen, I need somebody to match my energy and match my flow. If I'm making 100,000, right? I this is me personally, y'all. Now, I need someone to match that or have over that. And the reason why I say that is because I fell into so many situations where I came out looking like the bad guy. So in one of my relationships, like, I was told, oh, you're always like, this is my apartment, this is my this is my that. So it was a thing where I was holding maybe, a tad bit more, and it was like that the person would always throw that back at me. Like, in a fight, so the next argument, it was like, yeah, you always saying this is my house, you can get out. And I was guilty of doing that.
Right.
I'm not going to say I wasn't guilty. I was. And that's an issue. When you find yourself doing stuff like that, that's a big red flag. And so now, where I am now, as a grown woman, I'm going to have to say that, yeah, it does I need someone to either make what I'm making, or be more established than me.
Do you think that you could actually lose the person of your dreams, that your actual husband, if you had those parameters set up? Like, in other words, let's say that some guy's just the janitor at the high school. Good dude, janitor at the high school, $40,000 a year, $50,000, hard worker, but some with overtime, $50,000. He has some type of whatever, but he's a stand-up man. Like, so do you think
good
that
man.
Right? And now, and this is good. Like, this is good to find out. So, like,
And
at this stage in age, you feel like no more time for that. I don't have time.
No, you know what? No, I'm not going to be here and be ignorant and say that I'm going to turn down a good man. There's no way. If he's a good
But
man,
you won't get to know him if he's not meeting you at that level.
But if he shows like, if he's like, listen, you can say whatever you want to say with your mouth, right? But if he's showing that, like, no, like, even though that you may be making more than me, like, I'm that dude. I'm not gonna wait for you to ask for money to give it to you. I'm gonna be like, yo, let me, my girl, my woman, she want this, she want that, I'm gonna work overtime because that's what my woman want. I need to see it though, because let me tell you something. I have made the mistake. See, this is the thing, y'all. I have made many mistakes in my life. I'm not this woman blaming the man. And the man did this. No, I have been the great enabler. This really should say enable. Okay? You cannot baby a man. You cannot. You can't be a second mama to a man. Okay? You gotta let a man be a man, and I'm guilty of that, right? I made it too comfortable. So what I'm saying is, I can't just, because he tells me that he is a stand-up guy and he's responsible and he can be held accountable and he's not cheap and he is willing to take care of me and me take care of him, but not just say that. I need to see the facts. I need to see the facts. So I'm not saying no to a janitor. But I'm definitely saying I'm not going to be as gullible as I used to be. I wasted too many years being a gullible woman. And I'm not bitter, y'all. I don't want anybody to think, oh, she's just bitter. No, I'm not. Absolutely not. I'm happy. I'm flourishing. I'm glowing. And I all praise be to Almighty God. But I just feel as if I can't make it so easy.
No, it's
And I'm not even an easy girl. Like, I can still count. Like, when I say easy, I don't mean easy, like, easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, easy. Like, yeah, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Heels to the ceiling, easy. Now, I'm not talking. Ankles clicking easy.
Grapes and butter.
I ain't talking about grits and butter. Easy. You know what I'm saying? You know, butter melts real quick on the stove. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that. You know, I'm talking about basically mentally. You know what I'm saying? A mental thing. So that's in a nutshell with my relationship. I know we got to move to different topics, but in a nutshell, it's like I wanted one thing, he wanted another, and I felt like I was forcing him to think my way, and you can't do that. Don't do it, ladies. Don't force no man. If he show you his face one time, believe him, hunty. You cannot force him.
Now, kind of like, you know, with your relationship, your past relationship.
Yeah.
It was a younger guy.
Yeah.
I double figure, we'll say at least 10 years younger.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into the minutiae of it.
Yeah.
But that brings up the idea, like I just saw NBA All-Star Weekends this weekend, and Amber Rose, who I'm not sure her age, but I would think at least
Amber.
40 maybe, but she's with football player C.J. Stroud, who's 21, 22. He's a rookie.
Is he 21? 22?
Yeah, he's rookie in the NFL. And then also they were showing this other young lady, Drea Michelle.
Yeah, Drea Michelle.
She was like Real Housewives or something.
Yeah, she was not Real Housewives. She was on Basketball Housewives. Yeah, and now she got like, you know, she has a bit. Of course, she has like mid swim, beautiful swimsuits. Drea's been doing a lot for herself, and it makes me mad that like every time I see her in like every time I see her name in these like big blogs and stuff, they always like they kind of like bring her star down as if she's just like, oh, Drea Michelle, the one that always dates the celebrities and the basketball players. But like, man, she's done a lot. But yeah.
But even with that, right? So not her that lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
But just on, she's right now allegedly
Yeah.
pregnant by Jalen Green, who plays for the Houston Rockets. But either way, 21 years old. So, and Drea has to be all of, again, close to 40.
Yeah, she hitting on 40.
So you're talking about, 20-year gap between both. So should we be looking at that as what's wrong with these women?
Yeah.
Or should we be looking at that as that's good for the female to find a young whippersnapper and bring them up, so to speak, right? Like so, because now if a guy was 40 or 45 years old and he was with a 21-year-old, he's getting dragged through the mud. Like everybody and their mama would know, because this would be on Facebook, Instagram, Channel 7 News, CNN. What is this old man doing with this young woman? But like now we see some of these young women, some of these.
This hit a nerve, huh? This hit a nerve a little bit.
No.
A little bit nerve.
No. Because also what I look at, right, it's ironic because I definitely look at if the male was doing it with a woman 20 years younger, how the comments would always be, what is he doing? He's taking advantage of this young girl, stuff like it's almost rape, that so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. But then when I see that it's the reverse, you have like an Amber Rose, you have like a Drea Michelle, and then with these 21, 22-year-old kids, it seems to be that the conversation piece from the male seems to be more to the males, right? Like I don't see comments saying, Drea Michelle, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I see more comments like, Jalen Green, like you just got caught, like what are you doing? Like who's in your corner? Like somebody should have taught you better. I see more comments more to the guys saying you're effing up. You shouldn't be doing something this stupid. Versus why ain't all the comments saying y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself? What you doing with that baby?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was on Hollywood Unlocked a couple of days ago, and I did see like they was coming down on Andrea pretty hard.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
See?
no doubt.
Now, was it guys or females?
No, it was of course females.
See?
It was females. But like, you know, and then you have your every once in a while you have a little zesty guy come through, you know what I'm saying? Oh wait, where's our makeup person? Makeup! We ain't made it yet, but let's just pretend somebody coming. Okay, there you go, get me. Okay.
So you try to get you a Jalen Green right now. You try to get a CJ Stroud.
All right, so yeah. So but listen now. This is the thing you gotta look, cause you gotta understand this. You're talking about a different type of. You're talking about the industry, right? You're talking about money. The thing is, right? So the thing is, something. First of all, the industry is weird, you know, because it does just thrive off of status and money. And you are talking, yes, they're 21 and 22-year-olds, but you're talking about multi-millionaires, right? That have way more money than Drea and can probably set her, right, and her children, right, and her children's children to the generations to come if she were to marry this man and blah 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 and have a child, right? So, in my opinion, would I do it? That's too young. What am I? I feel like I just don't want to have to feel like I'm playing mother. But it doesn't mean that, like, you know, I mean, it's everybody's different. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know, Drea feels like, no, I don't feel like that at all. I feel like we're equals. I don't feel like I'm playing mother because he's some women say, oh, but he's very mature. You know what I mean? Even like with with the relationship with my ex, there was times when I was like, oh, well, did I make a mistake because of the age? But I knew it wasn't because that was the grown man. So with my situation, my ex was grown. Like, he was still in his 30s. Right. So he was grown. But like in this situation, he was grown but a regular guy. But with Dre's situation, you're talking about a 21, 22-year-old with freaking gazillion millions and millions of dollars in the bank. Right? And so it's a different.
But still, no matter what,
how much was his contract?
Like when you're rookies and you're that young, I mean, you still got a few million, but you know they haven't signed that big boy yet, right? Right. So, but no matter what, like it's still different from your regular old that work right now.
So I, you know, I can't really say like what she was thinking. I mean, because you know, Dre got a 21-year-old son.
That's what I'm saying. It's like dating your son. I mean, like, don't that? I don't know.
I just. But then you look at her too. Maybe she's like, dang, like, I mean, I look good. I still feel, you know, I have that. I feel vibrant. I feel, you know, I don't feel my age. And then some women is walking around not feeling their age and they feel good. So, you know, maybe Drea is just like, what? I can run circles around him, so what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me dating him? You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I ain't mad at nobody that do what they do. Like, but it's just crazy.
So, but okay, tables turn. Your daughter dated like a 45-year-old dude. And come to you like, Daddy, he 45.
I told my daughter.
Look at the smile, y'all.
Nah, when we first, she might have been 15, 16. We had a conversation, and you know, it was about the do's and don'ts, the who's and won'ts, but the wills and won'ts. But one of the first things I said is there's a reason why adults are adults, kids are kids, and that's why there's age differences, right? Like, so somebody that's 25 shouldn't be with somebody that's 15, right? Like, so somebody that's
no doubt.
Just.
But we're only talking about adults.
So again, what she does with that information, right? This is what I had to learn over the years too, is that. So I don't think somebody 50 could do anything with somebody that's 25, right? Like that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But there's somebody that's 25 that thinks that somebody 50 is the world to them, right? Like they need the more experienced person, what have you. So once you're an adult, and my daughter's 27, if she found somebody and they were in their 40s, and I would definitely have to meet this person and, you know, try to get a...
You go strong on.
Just
You go
try to
strong.
get
You
a
go strong on.
realm of who...
Yeah, you gonna try to do the
But
scared
why would you
acting.
want a kid too, right? Like, so that already tells me...
You know that was,
something.
I was asked that.
Something tells me that either something good or something bad, right? Like, I'm no judge, right? That's the problem with us, right? Like, we all feel that my feelings of what I wouldn't do should be the same feelings that everybody should carry, right? So just because it's wrong to me, this is something I've learned and you know, through counseling and stuff over the last 10 years of my life, understanding that my opinion ain't shit, right? My opinion is mine, right? Like, so if I think that, okay, everybody should be able to eat cereal, right? Like, just for shits and giggles. There's some people that's lactose intolerant, right? Like, that oatmeal is their favorite go-to, not cereal. So, like, now here I am, a big proponent of cereal. Anyway, not to lose the whole track of everything, but that's what I realized is that I would say, if you're 50 and you're dating somebody 25, you're fucked up. There's something wrong with you, like, you know.
Do you think it's just physical?
No, this is what I used to think, right? Like, now I'm opening up my eyes to see more and more. I don't know if that 50-year-old was dating people always older than them, and they've been hurt 20 times, and now they're giving something else a shot, right? Like, so that's what I get at with, like, how judgmental we are, right? And like how we judge a book by its cover, or we have these plain notions of what should and what is supposed to be. You never know, right? And then one of the things, and my wife would definitely always let you know that she could agree with me on this. I always say that, you know, just men are just a little slower by nature, right? Like, I don't want to say some other words, but like we tend to be stuck on an age where we had our most excitement and most fun. Like, so
that's why y'all get to like nice foreign cars at like little age.
So that's our mindset, right? And it does or do take a strong woman to help bring you out of that mentality, right? And fortunately, some women do stick with the man and help him get through that trying stage. Again, that's what my wife did for me. That she dealt with the childhood mindset, right?
Like what? You give me an example of what a child like mom mindset is.
Well, a great example is initially, like when we used to, you know, when we were first dating or what have you. I hung out with a team, still do to this day, like, but like us sitting down, playing cards, eating chicken wings till 3 a.m. That's a Friday night. That's a Saturday night. You worked all week, whatever. And then at some point it's like, wait a minute, you got a family at home. And it's like, well, what that got to do with, you know, my own situation being here. So living and learning, like, okay, well, if you were staying out till, you know, 3, 4 in the morning playing cards, what have you, now you nip that in the bud. I'm not saying you need to be on a chain gang, like you need to be home at 9 because that's what a family man do. Now, don't get me wrong.
No doubt.
Like, no, it has to be some type of, okay, instead of 4 in the morning, I'll be home by 2 in the morning. That way you're not worried about me, you know, okay, that way you can get a good night's sleep. So different things you start to learn. So that was a great question because what are some of those things? And I think part of it mainly is just like whatever you were stuck on. Like you just think that, and that was a great example of just something that I was stuck on or something that I felt. But like, there's many different things that we feel as young adults that this is the way I always maneuvered, so this is the way I should always maneuver. And then it takes a strong woman to kind of say, okay, in the right way too, because you just can't come to me demanding, like you just can't come. Oh, listen, you coming in at 4 in the morning, don't come here, the door be locked. Okay, well, lock the doors and I won't be home. You know what I mean? So a strong woman also knows how to make you say to yourself, yo, like, should I be coming home at 4 in the morning? Like, she did that. And you sit up here thinking that you did that. Like, you think that you had that idea. But it's been gems dropped the whole year, the whole month, whatever it is. So, it's things like that, though. Definitely.
Dang. So now 20 years in, 20 years in.
I'm out till 4 in the morning. Nah.
I was just going to ask.
Well, obviously, you know, you do. Once you're 20 years plus, I mean, like, there's nothing that it should be new, right? Like, I just can't start, like, now, if I start, like, okay, I want to start joining the Harlem Globetrotters traveling team 6 months a year, it's like, all right, where the fuck is that coming from? Like, all right, something's just changed. Like, if you're talking about, okay, I'm playing pool, the place goes at, 145. Like, that's not even, it's not even a conversation, because plus you don't have the kids at home, right? Like, so, like, now it's not like, okay, hey, man, I'm here, whatever, okay, you tired, take the nap, so it's a different ballgame. Now, how about you, though? Like, I mean, like, so with that difference, and
You hit me with a hard question.
no, I mean, I get you out.
Go ahead.
If you have, and I'm not sure about people's personal, right, like Dre, Michelle, what have you, the world, like, now when you're not talking about the money value or whatever, what do you think a man should bring to the table? What do you consider a real man? Like, I know you said earlier a little bit about finance, being you at a certain place, but do you really think that's a man? Like, is that what makes a man?
What makes a man to me is a man who fears Almighty God. And I'm not just being corny about that. I'm not, it's like, oh, it's so cliche. I truly, truly, truly believe that he has to love God first before he loves his mama, before he loves his kids, before he loves me. That's another thing I did wrong. I did a lot of trying to, like, I was the one going, oh, this is why God is so amazing. And then I would be that one trying to, like, convert all the time. And it's just, it would be nice, right, to have a man match, again, that same energy and realize how good God is. Boom, there we go. You start there, things start to fall. No one's perfect, right? We all sin, we all do things that we shouldn't do. But you have a better road, right? So that to me is one of the key things that makes a man. That's my opinion. I know some people are like, well, I don't believe in God and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Like, but you ask me, and that's my opinion.
Everybody changed that.
Right? And then there's also, how that man treats his mom and his children. I think that's very important. And everybody doesn't come from the same stock. So you might have someone who didn't have a great mom, or someone who maybe had a mean baby mama and a baby mama that basically said, I'm not going to let you see your kids until you do this, that, this, the other thing. And the poor guy just didn't really see his kids because he had a trifling baby mama. So, but I do look at how he handles that, right? That's important. How a man handles his issues and his problems. Because they're going to happen. If you're human and you pee and you poop and you bleed, they're going to happen. But I look at that man. Do you lash out? Do you hit? Do you abuse? Do you call women out their name? Right? Because if you're doing that, it's just a matter of time if you call me out my name. I can't have that. You know what I'm saying? I just can't have that. So I never ever once call any man out their name, any woman out their name. So therefore, I want someone again to match my energy, right? A man is someone who thinks before they just go the heck off, right? A provider. If you make kids, please try to take care of them.
Thanks. Hey, that's
take care of your children. Please take care of them kids. Don't have. Please don't depend on my tax dollars to take care of your children.
Now, even with the children. So now, if you look at the dating pool of females, right?
Yeah.
And I know we've been dealing with the female thing. I'll just throw this last one out because it's something that I was thinking about, right? Because I think about, although that industry shit's a whole different ballgame.
It is.
But the gayness, right? Like, so as a female, right, and you're now at least 32 years old, so you're getting up there in age.
Homosexual.
Do you feel that I gotta find a man and I'll take any man, or are you okay with?
Me personally?
Are you okay with? Or do you can answer it either way, right? Do you feel like women should just be like, I'm okay if I'm 70 years old and I don't have a man, or do you feel like? Because I know that's the one thing. Again, a lot of sisters, a lot of cousins, female cousins, and they're like that. Being old and being a cat lady, that was you didn't want to be there. So a lot of grandmothers had.
You are asking some good. Oh, you asking some good questions.
Females was with father here, and then he had a family over there. But anyway, so now with females today, I wonder if they're getting older in age and they're saying, "Listen, I know this dude here is cheating on me. I know this dude here is on the down low. I know this dude here, or." If I could just find any man that could at least, put air in my tires once in a while. Are they settling? Are you okay with settling? Should women settle? Because that dating pool, from at least what society says between young black men being in jail between gay homosexual thing. Do you think that women should settle? What do you think in that case?
So you asked me about women, or you asked about me? Like my opinion.
Take it either way.
So I feel like this, like again, right? If you are a true believer in God, then how can you say you believe in God and you're gonna settle at the same time? You telling God that He can't do His job. I messed up. God didn't mess up. God told me to sit my behind down and wait for Him to bring my king to me. I'm the one that was hard-headed. Feel me? So therefore, I am independent. I make good money. I'm a blessed woman, but men are a blessing, and I am not a man. I am a woman. In my opinion, I'm sorry. I do need a man. I love them. They are strong. They are the good ones I'm talking, are protectors, and I need that. And I need that feeling of like that masculine, I need that. I'm the weaker, right? It's okay to say it, ladies. It's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. That's what God created, right? It's the whole rib thing. But as far as that, I'm not okay with being a cat lady. I'm good with that. It's you know what I'm saying? No. Okay, what can a cat do for me? I'm sorry. But I do believe in taking the time that you're single to really look at let me have this talk with God on what I would like, what my desires are, but trust in Him that He's gonna just be like, okay, I understand, I hear you, I love you, but I'm gonna tweak that a bit and give you what I think you need and what you want. So, but you have to have the patience. I learned that because I made many mistakes. But I do need a man. I love men. And ain't no way in the world I'm gonna get up in here cute and no man and talk about I got whiskers.
Many men.
Wish there upon me, blood in my eye, but I can't see y'all. Stop playing with me,
Hey, listen, man, we just want to set it off a little bit, man. Like, just give you an idea. And again, we can go on for days, man. This is family, so it's easy for us to have conversations. So all we're doing is just having a conversation. We're not really just I mean, we might throw in a person or two, like, a celebrity or something, or a topic, what have you.
Absolutely. Somebody gonna fill the chair.
Yeah, so definitely, man, like, we just wanted to, sit down, do this first one.
Yeah.
Get this out the way.
We didn't talk about Alicia and Usher.
Well, what you feel about Alicia and Usher?
Okay.
That's
So,
back to the
all
relationship.
right. So Alicia's married, right? And her Swiss Beats have been married for a while now, right? So, like,
Usher's married now.
He's married now, right? So they're both in serious relationships. So this is really for you because I'm single. So how would you feel if some dude, wait, hold on, right? Okay, some dude, right? He got, this is Tammy in front of me, right? And I'm a man. And I'm just a grad. It's all good. I'm at home. I'm at home.
I think that at first, I seen all the tweets and I seen what everybody's talking about, how Swiss should be pissed off and going back. And when I think about it, it's like, first of all, I don't want nobody rubbing up on my woman, obviously.
Did you see how close he was?
I did. And I thought that, to be honest with you, I didn't think that needed to happen. I think that show could have been without him actually doing that. Now, with that being said, I don't think that it should be that big of a deal because it's like they're performers. They're performing their art. So if she was at the movie and she had a kissing scene, like, would I be mad if she was kissing somebody? Like, if she's getting paid, and what's crazy is they don't even get paid to do that show. But if you're highlighting, if this is part of my fame, my fortune, that I think there is a different category for that discussion. Now, just plain and simple, no, that shouldn't happen, right? Like, so nobody should be hugging up.
Would you be upset if some dude had
on that stage? So my wife on stage though, like
cuddled, he was in the back, cuddled up, cupping it.
I would definitely have asked if there could have been a different way of doing it.
She came around to show you. Would you be mad? Would you be mad?
I'm saying it's tough because I'm trying to separate the two, right? Like, because just the idea of a man hugging up on your wife, period, point blank, that's a no-go, right? So I'm pissed, I'm smacking everybody, it's a problem. But then there's this other category of, okay, this is how I make money, right? Like, so I'm a celebrity, I'm performing, and this is part of my performance, right? So like, I wouldn't want my girl walking around. I don't want my girl walking around with a miniskirt on, right? Because what type of woman would I have on my arm if you walk around with a miniskirt on, right?
Why you feel like you need to show?
But I'm looking at Beyonce. She's performing in a leotard, a two-piece, whatever. So she's shaking her ass, right? Because that's her job, right?
Point.
So that's why I have to separate the two, right?
Good
Like,
point.
so now, could I marry a Beyonce? The person, probably. Now, the performer, I would have to take that with the marriage. So that's why it's two different categories, and it's hard to just have a blanket statement
That's
of.
That's part of her profession. That's part of what she
Right,
does. You have
right.
to find some way to mentally separate it.
It's
I got
totally,
it.
it's so,
I got it.
that's the only part that's why I don't say always and never, right? Because just the plain me, the plain Jane is gonna say, don't touch my wife. You got a performance, and you can perform over there on that side of the stage. In fact, Jay-Z did that initially with Sean Paul back in the days with Beyonce when they were performing that song. They said Jay-Z was on that stage and like Sean Paul couldn't come close to or whatever. Or at least it was a rumor. I don't know these people, but anyway. So again, we could perform the song. Like, you really don't have to be there to do that. Now, the artistry of it, like, there's a reason why she allowed it, but I mean, like, Usher looked like he was really into it. Looked like he had his eyes closed up, but anyway. But also he was a performer because he got married that night. So, like, does that mean like he really wanted to bang that girl? Like, not necessarily. He was putting on a good show. So if you're gonna pay these performers to put on a good show,
Yeah.
isn't that what you want to see as a show?
Yeah.
So
You know, Swiss Beats, he actually issued out a statement
Yeah.
saying, like, y'all looking at the wrong
Yeah.
thing. You know, he was like, I'm not worried about that. Like, they're two amazing legends.
you said you see that dress my
Yeah,
girl
he
was
said you
rocking.
see that dress my girl was rocking, you know what I mean? Like, fill the whole entire, like, the train of it, fill the whole entire, like, platform. So I get it. I totally get it, right? They're professionals, right? And they're thinking professionally, and they're not, like, putting their feelings into it. But then, there's been many times
Go. That what?
that celebrities have fell in love
Mm-hmm.
on set,
Mm-hmm. Right.
right? So
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez and her man, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt fell in love on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, see what I'm saying? So, you know, I get it, right? Yeah, you should separate it, but sometimes.
And see, that's that. Man, now we're about to go. That's that. Some would say insecurities in a man,
I don't.
and some would say in a woman it's the woman's intuition, right? Because it goes both ways, right? It's
Yeah.
not always just the man. It's the
Yeah.
woman. But I would say they're almost the same, right? It's a man's intuition, right? Like if I'm sitting up here like this, I don't care. Like you don't have to do this in that scene, right? It could be done differently. And then, like you said, especially if it's this particular artist, whatever, you don't know. Like
Yeah.
these people were married and then they fell in love on the set. So how did that happen? You grew something. So there's the idea of, okay, well, I trust my wife, right? But there's that trust ain't in that room when y'all sitting up there hugged up, kissing or whatever, or doing whatever scene you're doing. So now should you be on some shit like, listen, my wife don't do no new scene, but that's a profession.
Listen.
You gotta know who you are, B. What do you think?
Yeah, so listen, I remember like when I worked at Children's Hospital, I worked with this older like Jamaican lady, and like we had a similar, we would always eat lunch together, like a whole bunch of us, because we worked on the same department. So we would always go to lunch together and kiki and just talk about so much stuff. And she was full of wisdom. And I remember we was on a similar conversation like this, and she said, "You young women need to realize you cannot control worldly things." Period.
That's it.
See what I'm saying? You cannot control worldly things. You can't say you shouldn't do this and you should do that when it's outside of the word of God.
But also too, like you can't go nuts. So
Crazy with it.
but like another thing too, like you can't go nuts. So thinking about like the world's the world, right? Like so that's the way I look at it. Like with my kids, right? Like, so you teach them right and wrong in the house.
Yeah.
Like I didn't swear in my house, but I guarantee you, my son and my daughter's probably tearing a hole in the whole language of swearing.
Listen, you can't say, I'm not into that where, oh, you going to hell if you know what I mean, if you say a bad word or something like out of anger. There's so many people that are doing worse things in this world. If you still have the breath in your body to just say, God forgive me, then it is what it is. But like, I'm not into that. I'm not into that like that where like you better move the right way.
No, but I was kind of leaning more from that to this. Like the same way I couldn't shield my kids from the Western identity from the world that they got to go out and learn in. It's the same way you can't do with your spouse, right? So I don't care what you do. I can't be by my spouse every day, all day, right? Like so, you just got to sit up there and trust that they're gonna do what's right. So you'll be sitting up there like, okay, they got the work husbands and the work wives, right? Like that's just somebody that you go to lunch with and breakfast with, or y'all the only people that kind of look alike, what have you, in some of these corporate jobs, and that shit can play a part too, right? Like the same way somebody on a movie set you work with somebody for 2 years, and y'all sitting there having these intimate conversations, like, you know, well, what did you do? Yeah, it's like, oh, I went to the movie, like, oh, what did you get out of the movie? You're learning about me. You're learning my perspective. Like, oh, well, I watched that movie and I got this out of that. Now, that could be intriguing to you. You could be on some shit like, oh, I like the way he thinks. And you might not even know it, but you could be building chemistry there.
Like you be looking for more, but like I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, you feel some shit like, yo, y'all don't want to go during the snowstorm? So, yeah, but all of that, like, yo, real talk, like, I can't be there and don't need to be there. Don't choose to be there, right? Like, you got to marry or you want to be with the person that you trust. That would be on some shit that would be like, okay,
No doubt.
some shit they don't have no control over. You don't know if that dude sitting up there listening to the way you talk, he's taking it in.
Yeah.
But you also got to know when some stuff is looking a little funny. Like, listen, he usually come in at 8:30. I'm usually at 8. Like, now he's starting to come in at 8. Now, you know what I mean? So you can't be too naive either, right? Like, so anyway, I know it's getting a little early, man. Listen, it's getting early late, man. So
It's getting early late, y'all.
again, thanks for tuning in,
So
family,
much
man.
fun, right? Our first
Listen,
time.
First time.
Yo, that joint was bomb.
Time went by fast, man. Again,
It
man.
went by so fast.
Love it, man. Let the people know where they can find you at.
Oh my goodness, J Chesson, y'all, on YouTube. J Chesson. I'm doing skits and stuff. Going over trending topics, and actually starting March 1st, I'm going to be doing lives at probably 9 o'clock. Probably every other night. But look out for me, okay? Make sure you subscribe, guys.
Definitely, man. Masculine covered on everything, man. Shout out Skizzo, man. I'll see you soon.
No doubt.
Definitely, man. JAYDFENC right there on the platform right there. Hit me on everything,
Yeah,
man.
no doubt.
Thank
You
you.
selling these? You selling these?
Yeah, we got these shirts. We got them in all colors, man. Different sizes, man. Y'all see what it is, man.
Yeah.
Came out with a different one today, man. Like, yo, man, check us out, man. Hit us up, man.
Just the cargo pants, you know what I'm saying? I got the ripped out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now hers didn't come like that. She made that shit in like 5 minutes. That thing banging right there. I'm gonna have to have her make a few like that and sell it for the female. Yo, shout out to everybody, man. Y'all stay tuned, man.
Bye, guys.
Peace.